It's hard to think of a flower that screams fall as much as mums do. These plants pop up practically everywhere this season with good reason. They are hardy plants that can withstand the changing climate and add lovely pops of color to your porch. Here's how to care for mum flowers and keep them thriving. One of the most frequent questions I get asked in the fall is how to care for mums and extend the blooms of these hardy plants. Hardy mums, chrysanthemums, or fall mums are everywhere in the fall. Garden centers, grocery stores, and seemingly everyone in the neighborhood's front porch. These vibrant autumn bloomers are easy to care for and come in many different colors and sizes, making them a great choice for any garden or fall planter project. They also happen to be affordable and, with the proper care, can last quite a while. Many people just buy a potted mum in the fall and toss it away after its blooms are finished. With a little care and know-how, you can actually overwinter mums and even propagate them so that mum flowers you bought in the fall can keep brightening your garden year after year. Hardy mums are drought resistant, don't generally get a lot of diseases or attract pests, and are very low maintenance. Additionally, this late season bloomer comes in a wide variety of colors and sizes, so it will look at home in any style of garden. Fall mums can be planted in containers or in the ground and take well to propagation and creative planter projects like pumpkin planters. Many garden centers are selling hardy mums for fall, as they are such a great way to add some vibrant color to the autumn garden. I've also seen them in grocery stores, as well as home improvement stores. Here's a simple tip that can help you choose the longest lasting mums possible. It can be tempting to buy a plant that is already bursting with gorgeous jewel-toned flowers, but pick one that is not in full bloom yet. Instead, choose a plant that has a lot of buds and lush green foliage that does not look at all wilted. Fall mums that are already covered in open flowers may be at or past their peak blooming time and will not last much longer, while plants that are just at the budding stage will give you a much longer display. It's worth the wait. If you wish to transplant your hardy mums from a container to your garden, be sure to do it before the first frost of the season. The earlier you get your mum in the ground, the more likely it will survive the winter. Make sure you plant them in a location that gets about 6 hours of sun per day and has well-draining soil. Do not fertilize mums in the fall, as this can negatively affect blooming. If you purchased your mums in the spring, you can fertilize them up until early summer. I tend to only fertilize potted plants as anything in the garden is already getting what it needs via soil. Mums require little on the gardener's part, except for a little watering. Water new transplants thoroughly and often, never letting them dry out completely. Once established, you can reduce watering to once a week. Browning bottom leaves and dropping flowers are signs of not watering enough. You can overwinter hardy mums, but to do so, they need sufficient time to set their roots and become established in the garden. This means that your best bet is planting them in the spring so that by the time winter rolls around, they are ready to handle it. However, if you bought and planted your mums in the fall, you can still overwinter them as long as they went into the ground before the first frost. They will just need a little extra care. Don't prune fall planted mums. The wilted brown foliage will act as protection from the harsh winter cold. After the first frost, mulch mums generously. A thick layer of leaves covering them will do wonders for winter protection. If your fall mums are in pots, keep them there over the winter. You can move the potted mum flowers to a protected spot, such as beneath an evergreen tree with low sheltering branches, by the side of a building, or inside a garden shed. This will shield them from the cold and help them survive the winter. Overwintering will only work with hardy mums. Florist mums make a lovely annual, but will not come back year after year. If you overwintered your fall mums, cut back the old stems as soon as you see them beginning to regrow as one of your spring gardening tasks. To encourage your mums to bloom again in the fall, you will need to pinch them. This means that once the plant has grown to about 5 inches in height, you should cut 1 to 2 inches of new growth from each shoot. After the plant grows another 4 to 5 inches, repeat the process. Keep doing this until mid-July for bushy mum flowers that bloom like crazy in the fall. If you do not pinch back your mums, they will bloom in midsummer and will not bloom again in the fall. And we want as much color in the fall as possible. Chrysanthemums, or garden mums, are the quintessential flowers of autumn. Find out how to grow mums and see a few of our favorite varieties to add to your garden. Mums, the classic fall flower. Chrysanthemums are ubiquitous in the fall gardenscape. Few plants give such a colorful show during fall in cold winter climates. You can find garden mums in any color except for true blue. These plants also come in several different flower forms. You can see a few of them in the slideshow below. Different mum flower forms. Decorative flowers are double, with tightly overlapping rows of petals. Daisy flowers are single with narrow petals radiating out from the center. Spoon flowers are similar to daisies, but with the half of the petal nearest the center quilled or rolled into a tube. Mums can be treated as an annual or perennial. Many folks treat mums as annuals, buying whatever color strikes their fancy in the fall and tossing the plants on the compost pile when winter comes. But the truth is, many mums are cold hardy even into USDA Zone 4. You just have to know how to keep them alive. How to grow your best mums. While hardy perennial mums are usually quite durable, with a bit of extra care you'll reap huge rewards. Here are tips to reduce the risk that you'll have to plant new mums every year. 1. Plant mums in spring. Spring is the time to get mums in the ground. That gives them lots of time to send out a strong root system that will keep them from being heaved out of the soil over the winter. Buy young starts in early spring. If they have flowers, snip them off so the mum puts its energy into growing more roots and branches. 2. Divide frequently. For the most flowers, divide mums every spring. Toss out the weak and woody centers and reset only healthy young sprouts from the edge of the clump. 3. Choose a sunny spot. Always plant hardy mums in full sun and well-drained soil. Avoid locations that stay wet or where water collects, especially in winter. With too much moisture, the crown rots and the plant will die. Tools to help you plant and divide. Perennial planter, perennial shovel, soil knife. 4. Fertilize regularly. Mums are heavy feeders. Start with a granulated 10 to 10-10 fertilizer as soon as you see new growth. Give them another dose in early August or when you spot the buds forming. Or apply a slow-release fertilizer in spring. But if you irrigate or it's been a rainy season, give your mums a little extra 10 to 10-10 as the buds form. Never feed after mid-August or the plant will try to keep growing rather than wind down to prepare for dormancy. 5. Prepare for winter. Mums left standing will survive cold winters better than ones cut to the ground. And it's a good idea to spread 2 to 4 inches of straw or other loose mulch over the roots to keep them evenly cold and protected. 6. Be patient. How to pinch mums. So you planted in spring and your mums come back every year. Why do they stretch into lanky plants by fall and not grow in those tight cushions covered in buds that you're used to seeing at the garden center? Pinching can help. Wait until spring to uncover the crown and cut the old stems down. Late cold snaps can kill tender new growth. You might also like Fall Pumpkin Planter, Coneflower Growing Guide, Mum and Kale Container Planting, the best goldenrod varieties for your garden. Pinching mums for more flowers. Pinching is the way to get the most flowers, but if you want a taller, more natural-looking mum, do it just once. When the plant is 4 to 6 inches tall, pinch out the growing tip with your fingers or use a small pruners to snip out the tip. You'll get 4 or more side shoots that will each produce a cluster of flowers. Pinching mums for a mounded look, looking for shorter plants with more flowering branches. You'll want to start pinching in spring and repeat the process every time new growth stretches to 4 to 6 inches long. Stop pinching in mid-July so your mum will have time to set flower buds. To get the most bloom time, choose potted mums at the nursery whose buds are just starting to show color like you see above. And if you're moving them into containers, don't worry about using a high-quality potting mix or even fertilizing. They're ready to go. Actually, no matter how you're going to enjoy them, you can simply slip the mum, pot, and all into place and you're set for the season. Mums are ideal for containers because of their shallow root systems. Plant perennial mums in beds or borders in the early spring or fall as perennials. Plant chrysanthemums in swaths or clumps of the same color and flower type. Pair them with other late-season bloomers like sedum, goldenrod, Russian sage, and asters. Mums are ideal for containers because of their shallow root systems. Plant perennial mums in beds or borders in the early spring or fall as perennials. Plant chrysanthemums in swaths or clumps of the same color and flower type. Pair them with other late-season bloomers like sedum, goldenrod, Russian sage, and asters.